Welcome back to my channel, everyone. I am still here doing some trials with the affordable $27 oxygen copper, with the $27 oxygen-free copper cables that you saw on my last video. And if you remember my feedback, it wasn't really as promising as I thought it would be. But here I am, a few days later, to give you more updates as far as what has changed since I introduced these $27 speaker cables into the system. You're not ready for this. All right, welcome back. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, consider doing so. Subscribe and like this video. I am continuously giving you more updates about this entire cable trial. Okay, my two test subjects will be here hopefully this weekend, and I'll be able to sit them here, blindfold them, and we are going to do a real A and B comparison of a $100,000 audiophile grade speaker cable and a $27 oxygen-free copper speaker cable. And so if you are ready for that, please make sure you are subscribed and turn on your notifications so you are informed the moment that video drops. For now, I just wanted to make this video to tell you a little more about what has transpired here in the lab. So I introduced these cables. Not these are the original. This is the original plan, which were about $13. But the other cables that you're seeing on your screen right now, this is a 12-gauge cable. A cable that I bought because many of you in the comment section felt that these would not be a fair comparison, that I needed something thicker. So I bought a 12-gauge oxygen-free copper cable. Okay. And I thought it would be more of an apples-to-apples comparison, which I agree it is a better apples-to-apples comparison. However, some of you have been saying the following: Jay, why are you doing this comparison with a cable like the MIT that has a network box in the middle? This is unfair. It has tone controls. It's not going to be an A and B comparison. Okay, so I want you to remember that thought. I want you to think about that thought, okay? You're saying the box there's nothing in it, okay? It's all a gimmick. It's snake oil. So if it's nothing in it, why are you worried about the cable? If you're saying there's nothing in it, why are you all worried about the cable? You shouldn't be concerned in the least bit. Those naysayers that are doubtful that this box in the cable has any sort of impact because you feel there's nothing in it, then why don't you do me a favor and respond in the comment section? Give me your take. What do you have to say if I come back to you and I answer back in this form, which is essentially refuting your comment and putting you on blast for saying it does matter, it doesn't matter, there is something in it, there is nothing in it. Make up your mind for once and for all. Decide which way you want to go. To the rest of you that are staying tuned to get my impressions, I introduced these cables, $27 cables, 2 days ago. In the beginning stages, I said it. It was not a very detailed, refined, top end. Things became blurry. There was a lot of basically lack of imaging, lack of separation. The soundstage didn't have a clear definition as to where things were placed in the space of sound, okay? And so that was my initial impression. 48 hours later, things changed. A lot happened since then. The cables finally stabilized. I've said it a million times. You need to give components an opportunity to settle into the system. Cables, I was once again schooled by cables. They definitely do the same thing. Once you insert them, you need to let them at least play music for a few hours before you can understand what the cable has done for you. So throughout the last 2 days, this is what occurred. Number one, soundstage got a lot more focused. Yes, things began to kind of go from blurry to more focused. Okay, that's definitely one of the biggest changes. Number two, clarity. The cables display an incredible amount of clarity. Yes, clean, crystal clear clarity. Something that I don't think I heard in the first 30 minutes of listening to the cable. Number three, imaging got better. No question about it. The imaging, the separation of the instruments in space got a hell of a lot better. Those are three things that happened, okay? Now, what I feel hasn't gotten better is the lack of refinement in the top registers. The high frequencies are, although detailed, they are still not as clean, not as highly resolving, not as organized as I have seen other cables that I've owned do. Okay, this doesn't mean they don't have any nuance. That's not what I mean. But when you crank up the volume with these cables, there is extreme clarity, a lot of immediacy, great quickness. There is a lot of dynamics. There's a lot of speed that I picked up on in the system. But as you crank it up, it leads to short listening sessions because, again, the cables are not, in my opinion, at the level of some of the best cables out there. Okay, and so I thought what I was hearing was the introduction of the USB module in the back of my CH Precision DAC, because I ordered the module for this DAC and I was able to insert it on this CH Precision and things got a hell of a lot better. So I attributed a lot of it to the performance of the CH Precision 1.2 DAC through USB and using my Tyco music server. But the reality is it's also the cables that really changed and did a 180, I would say. They really did a 180-degree turn. They are definitely breaking in and sounding better. No question about it. Many of you, of course, are critical of this exercise because you're claiming placebo. And I understand the placebo effect is a thing. I get it 100%. It'll always be a concern for most of you out there. But I can assure you that I think that with this next video, you are going to be able to hear it from people that are unfamiliar with my system. And by the way, I have to be honest and give you full disclosure, none of the cables will have an opportunity to settle into the system. None of them will. Both of them will go dead cold. The same way you would do it if you went to your friend's hi-fi store or anywhere else, okay? You have no time to let cables settle into the system, right? So when they get here, we are going to introduce one cable at a time. None of them would have been playing any music at that point in time. So I'll do the expensive MIT cables, unhook them. Then I'll do the affordable $27 speaker cables, let them play a couple of songs the same way, and unhook them. None of these cables will have the opportunity to settle into the system, okay, to keep things apples to apples. So I hope that this video has given you a little more understanding of the importance of allowing components to settle into your system. It is important. Stop doing immediate A and B comparisons. Okay, stop inserting cables, sitting down, and pretend that what you're hearing is really what is. I can assure you it isn't. They change over time. Okay, they will get better or worse. Maybe you won't like them at the end of the day, and that's fine, but I can assure you, cables will change through 2, 3, 4 days of you playing music through them. They don't stay the same. They do not sound the same afterwards, okay? So that's my biggest advice to you all, okay? Anytime you're doing cable swaps, cable comparisons, it is best always to let the cable sit there for a few hours playing music. Then remove it and place the next cable. Let that cable sit there for a few hours playing music, and then you evaluate. Ideally, you want to leave the cables in the system for 3, 4 days playing music. You listen to it, then you swap cables, let that cable sit there for 3-4 days playing music, and then you evaluate that second cable and then come to a conclusion. That's the proper way of evaluating cables. This whole BS of in and out quickly, it doesn't freaking work. I promise you, it's not 100% accurate. And yes, that goes also towards me in my next test. But unfortunately, my friends don't live 5 minutes away from me. They're coming from far away, and I'm not about to make them drive twice. So we are going to do it 100% A and B, plug and a plug, blindfolded, and we are done. Okay? I hope you guys like this type of content. I got a lot of great things that I'm about to be listing on my website, jaysaudiolab.com. I am literally waiting right now as we speak for a big Nagra load of equipment, a bunch of Nagra Classic amps, preamps. I got a Nagra DAC coming in, all these platforms that Nagra components use. A lot of things are going to get listed on my website. So be sure to check out my website, jaysaudiolab.com. I'll speak to you soon. Peace.